Okay. Good morning, everybody. I think somebody said that we are on the Dead Sea time. I thought the Dead Sea time is very accurate. So anyway, I hope you rested a bit and enjoyed the special environment. And now take a deep breath because we have a very intensive and I hope intriguing and interesting day. So now you can hear me. So now let's start. Unfortunately, Professor Mauro Ferrari couldn't make it. But you know, there is always very good opportunities. Whenever I say, and somebody says that's also at the Dead Sea, that everything turns to the good and to the very fruitful, and we are going to talk today about health. So I'm very, very honored and privileged to invite to stage, to the opening session and to chair this session, a very distinguished scientist and the president of Potsdam University. We feel very honored that you are here with us, and I want to invite you to start this first session for today.
Thank you very much, Mira, for this very warm welcome. And I'm very happy to be with you this morning together with the members of my delegation from the University of Potsdam. It's a wonderful occasion to see how you guys are working together, what topics you're working on, and it's just great to be here. You may wonder why we are here. The story goes a few years back. We started cooperating very closely with the university, with Tel Aviv University a couple of years ago. Many of our friends are here today. Yossi Klafter is sitting right here. Yoav Hennis is somewhere here, and I think Ranan Ryan is also joining us later today or tomorrow. These are wonderful colleagues who became friends over the years. And the cooperation between Tel Aviv University and the University of Potsdam has been developing wonderfully. So last year when I was here for my almost annual visit, I met Mira, and she was, like it seems always, very enthusiastic about her project and about the conference. And we decided right then and there that this year, we'll connect our visit to the conference. And this is why I'm here today. So Mira gave me a few minutes just to maybe tell you a little bit about the context in Germany. I know there's also another German delegation joining us this afternoon. We already met with them yesterday, a large delegation of German university rectors organized by the German Academic Exchange Service, which documents how good the working relations between Israel and Germany in science are. That's maybe why we would like to hear a few minutes what we're doing in Germany to make the situation even better. Generally speaking, the situation of the German academic system is good. We really don't have many reasons to complain these days, and like always, one main reason for that is money. Both the federal government and the state governments are funding science, both university research and non-university research, quite generously over the last couple of years. Some people say it's because Angela Merkel is a scientist and a physicist. It may have something to do with it, who knows. But in any case, things are going okay. As to universities, you may know that most of our money comes from state budgets. So Germany is divided into 16 states. Each state is taking care of their own universities. That makes up about 60–70% of our budget. About 10% comes from federal sources, and about 20–30% comes from additional research money, which is acquired on a project basis. We do not have tuition, as you may well know, and we won't have tuition in the foreseeable future, neither for Germans, nor for EU citizens, nor for non-EU citizens. That is a political given that we stick to. So even more important that we get good funding from our governments. I'm spending a lot of my time. Yossi is talking to potential donors. I'm talking to state politicians to make sure they understand what universities do, why universities are important not only for their own ivory tower, but for society as a whole. And in Brandenburg, we succeeded in a way that allowed us to expand in certain areas, which I'll get to in a second. On the other hand, however, we have a major challenge, which I think we share. More and more young people want to study at universities or technical colleges. That's great. It seems like we're doing something right if now close to 60% of an age cohort wants to join universities. I do not know the details how you are dealing with this. In Germany, the political premise is that everybody who wants to study should be able to study, not necessarily the subject he or she wants to study, but some subject. So of course we have subjects where admission is highly limited, like medicine. But in general, everybody who wants to study gets a spot at a university or technical college. That's great, but of course that creates major challenges for us because of the heterogeneity of the students. We have people in our first semesters who are geniuses, and then we have people who have trouble doing small tables or writing correctly. That is a challenge we're trying to address, not only by selection after people have been admitted, but being smart in admitting as far as we have influence there, but also helping less able students, students from difficult backgrounds, students with a migration background, etc., to succeed. And I think we're doing okay. We could still do better, but of course, not every individual will be able to fulfill a university education at a research university like ours. That's also a message we have to convey to politicians, even though they don't like to hear it. Now, just a few words about my university and the surrounding area. Potsdam is about 45 minutes from Berlin, so it's really a major scientific hub. The three Berlin universities, Freie Universität, Humboldt Universität, and Technische Universität, all three of them will actually be represented by vice presidents this afternoon, or presidents. The president of Humboldt will be here this afternoon. Potsdam is the fourth large university. We now we have about 21,000 students, and altogether this forms a wonderful space of research and teaching, the Berlin-Potsdam area. And both governments, the government of Berlin and the government of Brandenburg, is very much determined to ride that wave, to enhance activities in research, to enhance activities in technology transfer, to help startups succeed. In all of these areas, we cooperate so wonderfully with you, Yossi, and I know how often you are in Berlin every year, more often than I'm in Tel Aviv. And these are all signs of a great long-term dynamics. The Brandenburg government took some time to understand. Good morning, Ranan. I already mentioned you. Yeah. The Brandenburg government took a longer time to understand that because it's a rural state. It's a new state which was formed after the wall had come down in 1989. The University of Potsdam has been founded in 1992, so we're just 27 years old. And it took a lot of convincing and a lot of discussions, even after I became president, which was in 2012, to make politicians understand that it's worth investing into universities, that money for universities is not spending money, but it's investing money. But I'm glad to say it worked. The current government, which came into power in 2014, decided to increase our budgets by 3% in the average every year, net. And that really helps us to grow in a couple of important areas. So to conclude, just a few things where we are growing. One area where we're growing is computer science digitization. We've already had a very strong presence there. We're adding another 12 chairs. We have a wonderful friend who's helping us doing that, Hasso Plattner, co-founder of SAP, who is supporting these activities with major funding. Basically, he's funding the whole department of digital engineering by himself. And because of this good constellation, we decided to grow from 5 to 6 departments in 2017. We added the digital engineering faculty, that's the official name, which is now having 24 professorships. There are 3 professorships in digital health, and there are professorships in AI, machine learning. Then we have security and privacy, of course, but also something like e-energy, grid computing, things like that. that's one area of expansion where, of course, we are very happy to increase our connections with you here in Israel. Another area is health. I already mentioned 3 professorships in digital health. We're adding actually a 7th department of health sciences right now, together with 2 other Brandenburg universities. We will start with 16 professorships in various areas that are tailored to the needs of the rural state of Brandenburg. A lot of telemedicine, IT and medicine, cardiology, rehabilitation. One of my colleagues, Professor Völler, is here. He has a chair of rehabilitation medicine. This is another area where we see great potential. And of course, the interaction, I'm a computer scientist, the interaction between computer science and medicine will have tremendous benefits for all of us. This is also about aging, this conference. And of course, I think we will all be happy to reap the benefits of this research as we are getting older. A third area where we're growing is teachers' education. We're lacking teachers all over Germany, partly because of the salary problem, but salaries for teachers are okay, but we still don't have enough young people who want to become teachers. We're growing from 700 to 1,000 new students studying to become teachers in Potsdam alone. To solve that problem in the long term, that again is an area where the government is giving us additional money just for that particular area of growth. Another area where we're growing among academics, you know what that means, tenure track. The tenure track model is something we're introducing in Germany. We're moving away from the old chair model where we hire directly senior people for full professorships. We're doing more and more, going more and more American style, where we hire young, promising researchers into assistant professorships on tenure track. Then, as you all know it, they have 5, 6, 7 years to prove themselves, and if they are doing well, we promote them to tenured professorships. That's a new paradigm for Germany. In Potsdam, we have been pushing this for the last couple of years with great success. We get great people, and that also is an area where we would like to extend further. So I think this is where I leave it for today, just to give you an idea what we're doing. We're doing many other things. We're doing startups, etc. But maybe this serves as an appetizer for you to look at our website, maybe connect with those people who already know us to see how we can do more together. So I'm very happy to be here. It's a wonderful occasion. And now I'm switching. Mira hired me right away to be also a session chair. So there's no free lunch here. But just the beginning, exactly. So, but before we do that, Mira, I'd like to give you a few a little gift bag. If you come up here. Actually, what you see here is our campus. This is a structure that was built by Frederick the Great 250 years ago. My office is here.
Okay. So I know where to come.
It's not bad, the office, right? Nice. And so we have the luxury of working in these classical buildings. Of course, we also have a modern science campus. So this is something as a memory, and then there's...
This is my map now, where to go.
This is your map, where you find it, exactly. And some brochures. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you so much, and thank you for being here.
Okay, so I think not to waste any time, I think I'll stay up here. This is like PowerPoint karaoke. I'm just looking at the titles and colleagues I'm supposed to announce, but I'll be happy to do so. So we have a session on extreme responses to extreme conditions. Our first speaker will be Marco Harari. Marco, where are you? There he is. Sure. So you didn't answer the question? Okay, because Mira said to be brief, but I'll be happy to answer questions.
I'm just recommending, that's all.
Yes.
So the German system is very famous for its hierarchical structure, and
Yes.
you pointed out that your university is now starting to use tenure
Yes.
system similar to the U.S.
Yes.
System. But I'm curious, in a computer context, the universities are moving towards remote learning and using computers for having a whole education system that can be done without necessarily centralizing to a university. And I wonder if that's going on also, given that you're giving everybody a free education. Are you also driving towards this type of personalized learning with computers? It seems like you could actually
Yeah.
skip over the U.S. model.
These are really two questions in one. One question is, of course, blended learning. We already know about this. We know about the original hype, even though I never called it a hype. I always thought this would really change the way we teach and how we learn. Nevertheless, I don't really see the end of the Präsenzuniversität of the university, where students are present most of the time, anytime soon. I think we will stick to that paradigm for the next, 10, 20, 30 years. Maybe enhance it, well, certainly enhance it with e-learning, digital modules, but the experience of spending 3, 4, 5 years on a campus with your peers and learning from not only online, but also from real professors, I think that will be with us for some time. The other question was about hierarchy. Yes, the hierarchy, this is changing a lot in Germany. Actually, when I was a young scientist, I went to school in Berkeley, and I didn't really feel like going back because it was hierarchical. I didn't really like it because as at the bottom of the food chain, I didn't want to have a boss, etc. So I became an assistant professor at UC because I liked that better. And that lesson I applied now that I'm a president to really create that kind of culture, that the young scientists are young colleagues and they're not underlings who do what the older guy, mostly guy, would tell them. So, and that change, you may see that this afternoon, that change is really happening all over Germany. We're moving away from the hierarchical system. Some colleagues are even creating departments instead of chairs. And young colleagues are accepted as junior professors, as assistant professors, as colleagues. Yeah, that's really in full swing.
If I just may comment on your point that you made, because as somebody who was a reviewer for the entire German digital information or scientific information provisioning infrastructure, I can tell you there's little chance that Germany will bypass the US when it comes to information provisioning, in scientific information provisioning. We are lagging about 20 years behind, so don't worry.
This was optimistic.
Okay. No further